So I was talking to my friend Xavier, and he told me that he would be interested in watching me do a 20-minute long ramble vlog, and I thought, why not? Let's just try it. I think there are a few different starting points that you could have for talking for 20 minutes. You could talk about your life, you could talk about your childhood, you could talk about like things that you remember, you could talk about what's on your mind recently, you could talk about a bunch of stuff. Let me just pick something from those. I don't feel like talking about childhood right now. I have a bunch of random things on my mind. I guess I will talk about what I'm currently doing and thinking about. Right. So I am. So I have. I think I mentioned this in the previous video. I'm working on a word vomit project. It's a writing project. I call it the word vomit project because my goal was to write 1,000,000 words, and my belief was that if you write 1,000,000 words, you will be a different person at the end of having written 1,000,000 words than you would have been when you were starting out, right? So this is kind of it was partially a response. It's partially inspired by the 10,000 hour rule. It was partially inspired by this story about pottery students, and the idea is that so you have a pottery class, and a teacher splits the class into two classes, and each class gets graded differently. So one class gets graded on what is the one single best pot they can make, and the other class gets graded on how many pots they can make in that the length of the curriculum time. So I think they have like maybe 3 months to make. So one class takes 3 months trying to make the best pot they can make. One class spends 3 months trying to make as many pots as possible. And the funny thing that happens is the people that try to make as many pots as possible in 3 months end up making better pots than those who spend 3 months working on one pot. And the reason for this is because each time you make something, you're gonna change your idea, you're gonna refine and improve your idea about what good is. So if you're trying to make something good, the first thing you make will never be good because your idea of what is good has not yet been refined. Your idea of what is good is not very good. You have to get better at defining what good is before you can reach it. I mean, there's also the technical ability, but a thing that I've been thinking a lot about, I have always observed, is that a lot of people with a lot of technical ability, particularly musicians, artists, writers, even people have they have very good vocabulary, they have very good vocal cords, they have very good um, chops, finesse. They can do things that are very nuanced, but they have no taste. They have no imagination. They have no idea of what good is. And so you get all these people who are singers who are belting out these very powerful melodies, very vocal runs, and it's very impressive sounding, but it doesn't move you. You just think, wow, that person is a really good singer technically, but it doesn't inspire you. It doesn't make you want to cry, or it doesn't move you. And you take something like I have like the Star Wars Force theme. So John Williams is the person who I'm not a huge Star Wars fan or anything, but I love the music. I feel like it's very moving. It's written by a person who's trying to move people. It's a person with taste. If John Williams was going to give a lecture about taste, I would sign up instantly without just in the general case. Let's scroll. Scroll. Let's zoom back. Let's move back to what we were talking about before. What was I saying? I was talking about taste, pottery classes, writing. I was explaining my word vomits. Right. So I want to write 1,000,000 words because I want to be a good writer. I want to invest. I want to, if I spend my whole, a question I asked myself once is, if you spend your whole life doing something and you're never going to get rewarded for it, you're never going to get your big break. No one's ever going to recognize your talent, your skill, or whatever. You don't get rewarded. You don't become successful the only thing you can do is choose something that you're gonna spend all your time on and work on, and the your labor has to be its own reward. It's a Bhagavad Gita quote. Krishna says to Arjuna, you know, uh, you don't get the fruits of your labor. You just get you just get the labor. That's how you gotta think about it. You have to be like, what are you willing to suffer for? I think Mark Manson has a quote about like, what flavor shit sandwich will you eat? And my flavor of shit sandwich is writing. I love books. When I was a kid, I read many books. Books were there for me when people were not. And if nothing else, if there's only one thing I can do in my life, it would be to participate in that um, process, in that parley parlance, in the parliament of of conveyance. I'm using a bunch of big words, bunch of in everyday talk. Come on, to participate in the goings on of words and books and ideas and things and thinking, and like writers are in a way texting each other. You're texting, you're reading messages from people who are dead, and you're sending messages to people who have not been born yet. And there is that kind of game that writers are playing. I feel like I received messages, and I feel like I have messages to pass on. And if nothing else, that's what I'll do in my life. I was thinking about how I was reading, there was a pediatric surgeon or some guy who works with dying children, and he was asking them like what they enjoyed in life and what they hated in life and all those things. And they enjoyed ice cream, they enjoyed time spent with their loved ones, they didn't care about what they wish they didn't care so much about what other people thought, and they loved books. They loved Harry Potter and all those things. And I found myself very emotional. I was thinking, we're all terminal. There's somebody who said, like, there's psychedelic research being done for people who are gonna die. There's research being done on psychedelics, like hallucinogens, LSD, mushrooms, and it's about helping people who have been diagnosed with terminal cancer, or diagnosed with, like, you're gonna die in 6 months, and you're depressed, you're overwhelmed, you can't, you reality has punched you in the face with the impending death that you have, and it was not what you had expected. You're expecting to live for a few years more, a few decades more maybe, and suddenly you're like, oh, you got 6 months left to live, and how do you maximize? How do you, even saying maximize is such a utilitarian phrase. It's not escaping. How do you just resolve your life, and you're gonna die in 6 months, and you were not prepared for it. You did not, your expectations are completely crushed, completely dashed. Uh, your expectations were the setup, and reality is the punchline, and your life is the joke, right, or the tragedy. And where was I going with that? And so yeah, research is being done to help those people grieve and move on, and it's found that psychedelic experiences, meditation, gratitude experiments, those things make people feel better about dying. And then the point is, we are all dying, right? We are all terminal. It's just a matter of when your time will come. It might be today, tomorrow, next year, next month, in a decade from now, but we're all gonna die. I'm gonna die, you're gonna die. The universe is gonna die, right? All the stars will be extinguished, and everything will be a lukewarm nothingness. So this video, me, mountains, the earth, we're all just tracings in the sand that the sea is gonna wash over, and everything will be for naught. And yet, right? And yet, right now we are here. Right now we get to enjoy, experience, cry, everything that we see. And I found myself thinking that if there's only one thing I could do, if I were to do only one thing with the rest of my life, somehow I found myself thinking I would want to help terminal children, like kids who are gonna die of cancer, kids are gonna die of whatever terminal illness they have. I'm not going to be the doctor curing their diseases. I'm not going to be a researcher researching cures for those diseases. Respect to those guys. But I'm gonna help them have a better time while they're here. I'm gonna write things they that make them feel better. And of course, the point of that is by helping those people, you help yourself, and hopefully help everybody. But even if you help nobody else, there's this quote that I really like from, I saw it on Tumblr, which was somebody said, supposedly a college professor said, you all come to college because you have a little bit of, I want to save the world inside of you. And I'm here to tell you that it's okay if you save only one person, and it's okay if that one person is you. And it's very nice to contrast that with, you know, Philip Larkin's very cynical man hands-on misery to man. It deepens like a coastal shelf. Get out while you can, don't have any kids yourself. And I do believe that it is possible to, you know, if you do nothing else with your life, if you don't accomplish any grand, you don't make an iPhone, you can still do good by just being just you know, you invariably inherit bullshit in your life. You inherit trauma, you inherit fear, attachment, judgment, just all kinds of negative shit. I remember once I was drunk I was drunk with my colleagues. We were drinking for like quarterly. We have drinks every quarter, and one particular quarter we're having Korean food, and I was particularly drunk, and so I got on Facebook on the way home in the Uber, and I said, "Hey, I'm drunk. Ask me anything." And somebody asked like, "What's the purpose, meaning of life?" And I was just I just said, the point is to just sort out your childhood bullshit, and then just enjoy yourself. And that got like a ton of likes. And I think, I mean, so it's not that the likes matter, but I think that resonated with a lot of people. I think everybody and I was reading a bit of this in this book called I'm Okay, You're Okay. It's about transactional analysis. And what I liked about that was it just revealed this exploring these slightly Freudian, I mean, just, you know, just childhood stuff, childhood issues, how, you know, you're born into an imperfect system. Your parents are not perfect. Your society is not perfect. Um, if if you're a child, you're completely dependent on your parents for survival. Your peer group, your siblings or whatever. And if those people are not taking care of you, then you are dead, right? So you need to manage their moods, right? So somebody's saying like if you're a child and you depend on your father and mother, and or you know your parents or whatever their gender orientation, whatever, you depend on your parents having a healthy relationship so that they can take care of you so that you'll be alive. And if your parents are fighting, then that's just this incredibly stressful, worrying. Like, you can't be chill as a child. As a child, you cannot be chill if your parents are not getting along. You cannot be chill as a child in a noisy, like in a household where yelling is happening. You can tune out. So Elliott Hulse was one of my favorite YouTubers. Or I mean, I used to watch a lot of his videos, and some of them really moved me. And he said something about, you know, he has his theories about like the nervous system and hormones, and there's all kinds of stuff that I'm very curious about, that I think modern science is, you know, it has its sets of hypotheses and theories, and they are tested to certain degrees. And I am very certain that there are people who understand these things. I mean, so there are all quacks who think they understand these things and they don't actually. And there are people, but I don't think that the scientific consensus in the mainstream is at the cutting edge. I mean, I believe there are people who understand how the brain works and how society works to a greater degree than is, you know, written in the textbooks. Makes sense, right? If you think about it. But the thing is, because this is science happening at the frontiers, you have to be discerning enough to figure out what's true and what's not. You know, I believe that there's something about grounding. This is this idea that you basically, it's healthy for people to have exposure to like the ground, the earth, like to be barefoot instead of wearing shoes all day and not being in contact with the earth. I mean, is it the earth exactly? Is it grass? Is it because of like your nervous system is an electrical system and electrical systems need to be grounded? I mean, I don't know precisely what it is. It could be a placebo effect of some kind. Maybe just our ancestors used to walk on the ground and it felt good. Whatever the case, I believe that there's something there. You know what I mean? And similarly, why did I bring up Hulse? I was saying that yeah, he was saying something about you have this. You don't just have a fight or flight response, or you can have like this. So if you can't fight and you can't flee because you're a child in a screaming household, you kind of so the fight is like an accelerator maybe, and flight is like the brakes. It's like pressing both at the same time, and you just get stuck. Yeah, you freeze up, and you kind of choke yourself, and you kind of you get all it's just it's a really unhealthy place to be. It's not the same as you don't hear. I really like what Elliott does with. I mean, I have no idea what the hell he's doing, but he believes that there's things about body language and breathing and your voice and how you speak and how you breathe. And you look at monkeys and you look at just animals, and there's clearly something about body language, about voice, about about all of those things that I mean you don't beat your chest in a conversation in modern civilized life, but you see it happening in sports victories. When someone's like, yeah, scored a goal, woo! Apparently, even blind athletes, they do this when they win. It's like, yeah, and there's there's when you see me, and then there's this thing called surrender cobra. It's like, oh, you lose, you're oh, like you want to, oh, I lost my, oh fuck, my team's, and it's there are all these things that are in that the body does, and it's not really you're not really conscious of it. Blind people do it without people observing them. Why we do it, I'm not sure, but it's something I feel that is under investigated, and I'm very very interested about these things. I want to get to know these things, and the point of getting to know all those things is so you can diagnose is and that getting to know those things as well as other things. The point is to diagnose your childhood issues, and again we have this world that is designed to triage people into well and unwell. Not I mean even well and unwell is you're healthy or you're sick, or just are you sick enough to require treatment? Do you require to be institutionalized? That's the worst. Do you require medication? Do you require some sort of intervention? This is very you're in the hospital, you're in therapy, and then you're okay. And I think there's this whole spectrum from requiring like surgery to being high functioning healthy, and a lot of people, very few people are actually high functioning and healthy. Most people are kind of just in between. It's like you're a little bit, look at me physically. I'm healthy. I'm not ill. I'm not unwell. But I'm not. This is not peak human condition, right? I could do 30 push-ups and then I'm gonna be beat, and I could walk maybe 10 miles and then I'll be done, right? So there is wellness and there is alright, right? And most of civilization is just okay. It's just kind of chugging along with some amount of stress, some amount of misery, some amount of anxiety, some amount of all kinds of shit that we just tolerate, right? We put up with a lot of stuff, and I don't think that should be the case. No, but it's up to you. So each person has their own values. You decide what you want to put up with. I do not want a mediocre life where I am. So I mean, I used to profess that I wanted these extreme, grand, I want to be. I was never. I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be an Olympian. Or I'm gonna be a PhD I think when I was a young kid, I thought I would naturally end up being a PhD, but so that ship has long sailed. Um, but my point is, I used to have some escapist expectations of excellence. By that I mean I had fantasies, vague fantasies of achieving excellence, but I wasn't exactly implementing these on a day-to-day level. And so now I'm trying to figure out like, uh, so you have your vague fantasies. You can write down a goal. You can have some specific thing outcome that you want to achieve. But it's really what you're doing day to day that defines whether or not something is really what you believe or is a fantasy that you use as escapism, right? So the point. So I used to be an escapist, and I'm trying to not be, but I want to escape the jail that I'm in. Do you get it? Do you see the subtle? It's a pretty subtle distinction. There are people who. So we are all in jail. Civilization is a jail. It is. It is. Trust me. Civilization is a jail. We all live in jail world, and um, you can't escape the confines. You can't escape the compound aspects, but you can escape the psychological aspects at least. So you can be free. You can have a free spirit, a free soul in jail world, and there are a bunch of things you can do to like increase your local freedoms. But to do that, you have to actually take actions that are actually consistent with you know, with things that make you more free. Or you can fantasize that one day you will be free and you cling on to that illusion. I'm reminded now of I think Scott Adams a long time ago before he became famous for this Trump related stuff. He once said something like, a leader is a person who has a vision, and a vision is basically, a perception of things that have not happened yet, and so that's basically insane, right? So having a vision is having imagination is not quite sane, and again, sanity is part of the school of wellness and health and all those things. Like, what does it mean to be sane? The line between genius and insanity. We change our goalposts depending on the outcomes. But going back, the point is to get over your childhood bullshit. To do that, you have to be clear about how your childhood bullshit, how your conditioned worries. So why I brought up the parent stuff was, if your parents are fighting, you don't, at the age where you're witnessing it, you just want them to stop. You just want them to be okay, and know you don't have the intellectual. It's a very primal lizard brain fear of whatever's going on, and you just develop an aversion to it. I have an aversion to schedules and calendars and deadlines, because when I was a kid in school, like, this school was just traumatic for me because I was just a terrible student. And now I'm having to relearn those things. So if I'm to get past my own childhood bullshit, I have to sit with my discomfort and anxiety and fear. And all of these things, the discomfort, anxiety, and fear, these are generated from assumptions that assumptions that we have based on our childhood experiences, or just, and like experiences, and then the worldview you assemble around those experiences. And basically, it's all very self-preservational, right? And so the things that we do to preserve ourselves can end up being the 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 walls of jail that we build around ourselves. You get it? So if you want to get out of jail, you have to re-examine all your assumptions. And doing that is not just an intellectual exercise. It's scary. If it's not scary, you're not doing it right. Because, I mean, or maybe you're just free to begin with. In which case, why are you watching this? Um, but the point is, if you want to be free, you have to examine. You have to examine everything, basically. But in particular, you examine the things that you don't want to examine. You examine the things that make you uncomfortable, that make you afraid, anxious. You should keep like a diary of things that stressed you out, things where you responded in a defensive way, and it's just trying to map out the landscape of your psychosomatic, like your a landscape of how you behave in the world, like a behavior map, or like a behavior log. You have a behavior log of all the things that you do and how you react, and then you plot that out and you see that, oh, I always react defensively when someone is talking about food, let's say, right? It could be different for different people. And someone says, why are you such a picky eater? And then there's some issue there. Like that there are a bunch of minds planted in your psyche, almost definitely, and like removing those is a huge relief. I'm So I'm halfway through this process, or maybe a quarter or a third through. I have made some progress. I used to be a much more abrasive person. I used to try to win arguments all the time because I felt that that was the only thing I was good at. And like if I was to have any kind of success in life, or if I was to be appreciated or loved or respected or get any like just anything, like the only thing I have for me is being good at winning arguments. And so I turn everything into an argument and win every argument I can, and avoid spaces where I'm subconsciously avoid conversations that might lead to me not winning an argument. You know what I mean? It's like you pick your fights. So you avoid you pick the easy fights, right? You pick the fights you know you can win, and that's very restraining. It's very constricting, and it's not by design. You inherit that. Like it's just something you do to protect yourself once or twice, and then it just becomes the way you are now, and the way you behave, and the way they reveal what you believe about the world. And why did I bring that up? I was talking about my word vomits project. I was gonna say that I have not written a word vomit in over 125 days. I have written 697 word vomits out of 1,000. So I'm trying to do 1,000 sets of 1,000 words. And I have done 697. I wrote the first draft of a novel in November, and uh, how did I go from word vomits, the childhood issues, the things you could talk about, things on my mind, um, why I'm making this video, why I'm making videos. So, but yeah, part of the reason I'm making videos is because I kind of felt like I was getting into a rut with my writing. Like I was being a bit too predictable. I was being a bit too familiar, and I wasn't challenging myself. I was getting a bit bored. I didn't want to be writing words just for the sake of writing words. So I wanted to take a break. I was procrastinating a little bit as well, uh, and yeah. I mean, there's a lot that I want to do. I want to draw. I've been trying to teach myself to draw. I have a lot of ideas I want to express. I have a lot of ideas I want to explore and articulate and share with people and get their responses and integrate that. I feel like I have a bunch of things to contribute. But almost half an hour now. If I could summarize everything in, I have 2 minutes to summarize everything. Um, there is a lot that we can do. The I think I now that I'm 28 minutes into speaking, and I feel like there's a ton of more things I could say. And I've written about this before, which is sometimes I feel like I've run out of things to say. I feel like there's nothing to do, and it's really just having disengaged from. So I once said that boredom is when you have a cluttered space with, I mean, it could be a wardrobe. You have a cluttered space. You have unclear utility values, meaning you're not sure what each thing is for you. You're tired, so you can't turn things around in your mind very easily. And you're tired, unclear values, clutter, and I mean you don't know what you're optimizing for. I think that's the worst part. So I guess you should know what you're trying to optimize for, but you won't always know. I was trying to I was I was trying to explain why I was doing word vomits. From there, I went to why you should do many things rather than a few things, and do one thing well. And then how did I get from there to childhood issues? Like I will watch the video later on and make sense of that. But I guess I'm gonna end this in without coherent, without elegant, coherent line through everything. and that's okay. I mean, like my first 100 word vomits were all shit. So let this be my first 30-minute video that can keep going. I can keep going another half an hour, I'm sure, but like I'm gonna end it here so that I can review it and make sense of what I'm saying. I do feel a little bit better than I did when I started out. I feel like I've gotten something off my back, chest, shoulders. Um, yeah, I'll be back.